What's up, Cherry Cult? Me and my buddy Cameron went for round 3 of Game vs. Game, a series where we try to make a game that's better than the other. But this time, instead of getting our friends to act as judges, we got over 600 people to vote on our games in a public game jam. Unfortunately, this was far from a fair competition between us. Keep watching to figure out why in episode 3 of Game vs. Game. So the game jam we decided to join was called Scream Dunk, where developers were challenged to create a game that involved horror and sports. We both thought it was a really weird combination, and we wanted to see what our takes on this would be. The jam rules is we had 1 week to make a game, and then the second week would be people voting on our games. There were 5 categories in voting: enjoyment, horror, aesthetics, story, and sound design. So let's get into my game, and the small setbacks I had to endure during this competition. One of the most challenging parts right off the bat was choosing a sport to go with, as there are literally thousands of sports played throughout the world. After about an hour or two of research, I decided to go with laser tag, which, yes, is a real sport. But before we dive into the development of this, let me go through my plans for this project. So this game was planned to be a first-person shooter, where the player enters a laser tag tournament, or so it seems. After winning the tournament, it is revealed that actually this is a guilty memory of the main character because he murdered 8 children. Yeah, it's really long and convoluted. The player is then haunted by the victims of this horrific crime and has to escape this laser tag facility while being pursued by them. The main part of the game here would involve spirits that couldn't be killed, but they could be slowed down with your laser gun. The plan for this game was solid and could very reasonably be finished within the 1 week time span, and I was getting hype, I was getting excited. So excited that it was getting hard to breathe. So day 1 of the jam began, where I quickly made a first-person controller, which I've done that before, that's pretty easy. Next, I wanted to find a laser gun model and some textures for the arcade floor. I wanted it to look like, old school 90s arcades. After getting those in, I wanted to actually work on the shooting of this laser gun, so making a sound effect, drawing a line for the laser, etc. I got really hyped about how easy this all was. And I was getting excited. So excited that not only was it getting hard to breathe, but it was hurting to swallow too. And that's where my biggest setback comes in. Only a day after the jam started, I was hospitalized. One of my tonsils had become so swollen that I could barely breathe, and one side of it became completely infected where it hurt to swallow every single time. It sucked. So I went to the hospital. I had to stay overnight because they didn't have a doctor on hand. And the next day, the doctor basically told me, yeah, just take some of these antibiotics and you'll be fine. I was not fine. Not even like a day or two later, I told them, hey, this medicine wasn't working, and I was hospitalized again. This time, they had a doctor there same day. They did the operation. They cut out half my tonsils. It was painful. It was uncomfortable. And I had to take some time to recover from this. But I didn't have time to recover. I had 2 days left to finish this game. So as you can probably tell, more than half of the game had to be cut just to meet this deadline due to all this time I've lost. I made the laser tag arena using Unity's Pro Builder tool. I made my very first pause menu, and I slapped together this boring walking simulator of a game with its many graphical issues, as you'll see. After making the main menu and end credits, I titled the game last minute, as I usually do, and submitted it with just a few hours left before the deadline. Cameron was kept updated this whole time, and I told him I knew I wasn't going to win. And I didn't. Out of all the 64 games submitted, Cameron's game got 14th place, while mine got 44th. Despite my massive failure in this competition, I'm just glad I put something out, and I learned a few things along the way too. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that this game, Laser Panic, is not worth your time playing. In fact, here's the whole game, right here. So yeah, that sucked. So congratulations to Cameron for his first victory against me in this series. His game was really fun, Skate Skate Die, and I can't wait to see his video on this project. But since I lost, I will now continue the tradition for these competitions. If you didn't know, whenever we do these competitions, the loser gets to choose the challenge for the next competition. And let's just say I got something devious planned. You already know, boy. Subscribe to find out. And yeah, that's about it. You can check out both of our games in the description below. I'll have a link to Cameron's video once he uploads that. I guess final little message here. I've been doing Twitch streaming a lot. I've been streaming a lot of indie horror games, Dead by Daylight. That's basically it. So if you're interested in that, that'll be in the description as well. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and subscribe today to join the Cherry Cult, or I'm gonna break through your window with a rock and feed you baked beans.